of a former great. Sometimes the new version's character gets lost in the details. Well, that's certainly not the case with Nissan's new 350Z. So here's Dutch Mandel with, well, the details.
The original Zs were sports car sensations that offered dramatic style and great performance at a reasonable price. Over 26 years of evolution, the Z's performance, race history, and mystique grew to the point that its story is known to enthusiasts and the general public. What also can't be forgotten is that the Japanese sports car market crashed hard in the mid to late 1990s, taking with it the last Z to grace these shores. That was then, this is now. The new for 2003 350Z reintroduces Nissan's marquee nameplate after a 7-year absence. You know, the practice of mining corporate history to come up with some new plates is all the rage today, from the Bullitt Mustang to the new Mini. But those deal with retro style. This is not a retro car. Thankfully, this is a true sports car. This car has been updated with the latest and greatest bits of hardware available. Don't think of it as a modern antiquity, and don't call it a cute cartoon version of an old favorite. It's a pure sports car with 2 seats, engine out front, and rear-wheel drive. It's a Z just like we fondly remember. Think of it as old attitude with an alluring new design. At the heart of this Z is a 3.5-liter V6 that powers Nissan's Maxima and Altima. This one, however, has been tuned to make nearly 290 horsepower and almost equal amounts of torque. The engine growls nicely through a dual exhaust, revving quickly. It produces enough mid-range torque to challenge the 6-speed gearbox. We found its multi-link strut suspension exceptionally stiff, which is good for this car because it feels sporty. In the back is a massive rear strut tower brace that gobbles up a bunch of space near the rear hatch, and that helps to keep the wheels firmly planted. As for stopping, the 350Z has no problem. Choose an optional Brembo brake package, and this Z makes a serious case as an exceptional sports car. The interior is simple and nicely functional, although there seems to be a whole sea of plastic in here, some of it rather cheap looking. We all know that the measure of a sports car shouldn't be the richness of its interior. While the Z's interior will never be confused for rich, it works well ergonomically, especially the seats, which are comfortable and supportive. From the why didn't we think of that department, the Z's instrument cluster is attached to the steering column, so when you move the wheel up or down, the gauges remain in the driver's line of sight. The exterior makes a strong statement, borrowing design elements from past Z cars. But it is more a statement of homage to the past and not a caricature. Some who see it argue that this Z mimics Porsche and Audi. Regardless, it looks good. The new 350Z is a great driver's car. It has power and performance to make it a real treat to drive. But the first question on most would-be owners' minds is price, and this might be the biggest Nissan surprise. This new 350Z has a base manufacturer suggested retail price of less than $27,000. A fully loaded model can be had for a few bucks over $36,000. We are here to tell you that those numbers are hard to argue with, and even after just a small amount of seat time. While the Z isn't the perfect sports car, it's the closest thing we've seen in a long time. A Porsche for Chevy money? Absolutely. For AutoWeek, I'm Dutch Mandel.
Now don't